Welcome back to highlights from the United States Chess League. This is FM Mike Klein reporting. We had a wild second half to Week 8 in the Western Division. When all the matches were over, 2 teams qualified for the playoffs, one of them with a loss, while others dug themselves out of the basement to keep their hopes alive. After everything was done, 14 out of the 16 matches were decisive. In a crucial matchup between San Francisco and Dallas, San Francisco won 3 and lost 1, but strangely both teams came out ahead. It was a good week for the French defense, as the bottom 3 boards all had Frenches and Black won all 3. On board 4, the mechanic's not yet teenage national master Cameron Wheeler had the more mobile pawns all game. Facing the likelihood of those pawns traveling further, White tried to undermine them with the risky 21 f4. This opened up a diagonal to his king, and Wheeler pounced. The Zwischenzug rook on a to c1 didn't save the position, as Wheeler also put his rook on the c-file. After a few exchanges, Black won a queen for rook and minor, and White had too many holes to hold out much longer. Dallas still had reason to celebrate. Thanks to a league reversal of their Week 7 loss to Arizona, the Destiny clinched a spot in the playoffs. The loss to San Francisco is thus their first loss on the season, but they still lead the Western Division. St. Louis also clinched a spot in the postseason, as they also won 3-1. In previous seasons, the Archbishops have had as many as 3 Grandmasters in their lineup, but the lack of flexibility this season hasn't seemed to matter. It's pretty much always Feingold and Knappen on boards 1 and 2, but that's worked out just fine. P. Diddy won again, and is now a ridiculous 7.5 out of 8. In less than 1 full season in the USCL, he is already the Archbishop's all-time MVP points leader. But Grandmaster Ben Feingold played the gem of the match, and nearly won his second game of the week this season. After sacrificing a knight, Feingold advanced his h-pawn rather than capture more material. Later, he used the white f-pawn as cover for his own king. International master Janibek Amanov resorted to checks, and brought in his knight to help out. But after the promotion to decoy the knight, Black simply brought his king back into the fold for a funny forced mate. Note that in the final position, that without an f-pawn, White would have queen f2 check, saving everything. The loss virtually eliminates the vibe from the playoff race. Carolina amazingly still has hope. They beat the Sluggers, who got the expected win from their Grandmaster on board 1, but the Cobras took 2.5 on the bottom 3 boards. 2 Cobras players broke out of slumps this week, with FM Casa Corley winning his first game since Week 1, while FM Ron Simpson won his first game all year. National Master Joshua Sinanen's troubles began with 23 Queen b3. He should probably just take the knight, allow b5, and put his rook on c5. Instead, Simpson activated his queen, rook, and knight in a hurry, and in a few moves it was all over, as White is getting mated or losing at least a piece. A win would have locked up a playoff spot for Seattle, but they are still in clear third. They need 1 win or 2 draws to secure a postseason slot in the final 2 weeks. For the Cobras, this was their first win of the season, but thanks to 4 draws, they are only a half game out of the final playoff spot. That last playoff seed currently belongs to Arizona, who recovered immediately from the forfeit loss of Week 7. Their win against Dallas last week was overturned, after the league concluded that there was some illegal computer use on board 1. Even so, Arizona got the win back this week, beating Miami 3.5 to 1/2. FIDE Master Robbie Adamson had a comical middle game with FM Eric Rodriguez. After an exchange sack, Black played 23a2 with the idea of bishop b2, queen takes d2 winning. Instead, the Scorpions board 3 found b4 to obstruct the attack on the rook. Black got his new queen, lost his old one, won a piece, then faced a rook battery, which led to a discovered attack. After the dust settled, it was White's turn to try to promote a rook pawn. Black gave up his knight, then lost his light-squared bishop after seeing bishop d7 is answered by queen a1 with a crushing double attack, and Black's rook b8 could then be met by queen a7, another double attack. So Arizona is desperately clinging to a half-game lead over Carolina, San Francisco, and Miami with only 2 weeks to go. Nothing has been settled in the bottom of the West, and we'll find out who is going to make a run for the playoffs. Until then, we'd like to thank our sponsors, PokerStars, the ICC, and Chess.com.